Hello, it is I, Evelyn. Take a deep breath, everyone. Okay. This is a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read. It is a 7-deck read. Please don't force it to fit. If it resonates with you, great. And if it doesn't, allow it to go. There's 7 decks on this table. There's a lot of energy there, a lot of messages. And it is for the Divine Masculine, so it'll fit for the Masculine within the Divine Feminine as well. Today is August 20th, 2020. So we're at the 32 for the day. It adds up to 32. 32 is the 6 of Wands, the Journeyman, and the 20 of Judgment, which in the SIRIAN Starseed deck is Karma. And it's definitely reversed today, the Karma card. So that's when it's being indecisive, it's deliberating, it's choking on, choking when you need to do something, holding back an announcement, holding back a call, not heeding the call to action. So all of those energies are coming up with the 20 today. And the 32 is going on the journey. Good news coming in, success, getting attention, leading the way, getting back up on the horse, right? And that's upright today. So it is very positive energy. It's still that energy of vacillating. I don't get it reversed as a non-judgmental card because there's nothing wrong with judgment when you're making decisions for yourself. Because judgment is a decision. It has to do when we try to make decisions for others. That's not our place to do. I was just seeing something. I don't know, it was an orb flying around. But so it's more of a being stuck energy than anything else, as opposed to allowing it to go. And I almost forgot I had this vision. With the Y in the road, we had the 2 paths forward that you can choose, and you can choose to look back or just stand there and do nothing. But there's a 4th choice. The 4th choice is the vortex. It's to rise above. It's basically going up and down at the same time. That is the polarizing merging together into the 0 point of the vortex. So just imagine a vortex, like you have a Y in the road, and you can go one way or the other, or you can turn around and go back, or you can look back. And then the other choice is to transcend that, which is this vortex. So the cone of the vortex, the point, goes down into the earth and grounds, and the wide part of the vortex, or the cyclone, goes up to the etheric realms. And then therefore the middle part, where the safe zone inside the vortex, is then where you are, standing there at the Y in the road. So I just wanted to give you that visual because it was very helpful to me. I cut the SIRIAN Starseed deck at 7:44 to 45. 44 is the 4 of Cups, and 45 the 5 of Cups. So the 4 of Cups can be boredom and apathy, but it also can be grounding and integrating a message or an offer of love. It's mastering being able to receive love as well as give love, and know that boredom is there for a reason. It's there to ground and integrate the things we've just expanded upon. Because we can't just expand and expand and expand. We expand, then we contract. We expand further, and then we contract. It's, back and forth like that, just like the circular motion of the energy. So, and just like the retrogrades, it's the same energy. It's the same pattern. So patterns come up today as well. So the SIRIAN Starseed deck, 7:44 to 45, 7 is the Chariot. And I finished clarifying at 8:11. 8 is strength and 11 is justice. And between that at 7:55, 55 being the Ace of Swords, the Excalibur or truth, the Lovers was left uncovered. And also is keeping it simple today. So, I did want to bring up, I watched the movie. I think it's hard to see on the TV. It was called 7 Sins, I think. It was about a woman who had a very tumultuous love life during her life. Her father died when she was young, and then she ended up drawing in all the wrong men, and they all ended up, killing them, which I'm not giving anything away because they tell you that in the beginning of the movie. But actually, it was a pretty profound movie. I actually teared up at the end, which I was surprised. So the seven sins were coming up, but in the movie, I brought up Delhi yesterday. There's confirmation. I brought up Delhi yesterday, and it was in the movie. And also, they were talking about a misunderstanding, which was also coming up. And also, losing a right eye in the movie, the masculine eye, that was coming up. And so we were talking about the third eye and fourth eye and the human eye yesterday in the read. So it's the movies always are synced, whether it's the names in the movies, there's always something synced with the journey. It's just constant, nonstop. And what was the other thing? There was something else, another like instant manifestation that was really cool. But anyway, so that was yesterday. And what else came up? Okay, so the major arcana for this read were Karma, Starseed, Guidance, and Lovers. Karma is the Judgment card, Starseed's the Fool, Guidance is the Hierophant card. Before the read, because I always pull a few cards on either side of the read, we had Alchemy, which is the Magician, and I'm sorry, it's not the Magician, it's the Temperance card, and then Tower, and then after the read, Indigo, which is the Magician, came up. So we had 2 cups, 2 wands, 2 pentacles, and 1 sword, which is perfect distribution because if you want any less of one of them, you want less of swords. The King of Swords came up and the Knight of Cups in the read, and the Queen of Pentacles. Before the read, we had the King of Wands, which is the Shaman energy, and we also had the Nine of Wands and Nine of Pentacles energy in the read. So that was the most significant, were the nines today, the 2 nines. And the code line was all about teaching and learning, which is that give and take, that reciprocity, the balance. So the code line, being all about teaching and learning, added up to the number 18 today. It was 3, 8, and 7. And that's, I didn't notice the 87 there before, but now I am, and that was significant today. So remember, I said 87. So 3, 8, and 7 added up to 18 today for the moon. And it was all about the 3 of Flames today. That's the challenge. The 3 of Flames, or the 3 of Wands, being very present in the moment to the 3rd flame, to your flame. So there's very cool messages, as usual, coming up today. It was coming up as the fidelity of Phi, the PHI, which is the circle with the line going outside of it, or in other words, the expansion energy where there's a need to come back to center again. And the mad test, so perhaps someone gets mad or you get mad, and there is that test there. And then 9-inch nails were coming up, and some of you may have mothers who used to put their nails into you. I had a friend whose mom used to do that to her. And then the pile of rocks to churn. The Empress of Drama, of strength and sea of emotions. And I was getting Ginger and Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire again. And I was getting that for Magenta the other day, but they were coming up again here. That dance of Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. And then I was getting it movie, literally came up in my code line. Movie Made in Heaven. So the movie Made in Heaven. If you've never seen it, you have to see that. And the show of power of Christ, the unity consciousness. Yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, it's a really old movie, but it's with, I can't think of her name, Turner. Is it, no, it's her? I always get her and somebody else confused. But anyway, it's Timothy, not Timothy Hutton. Is it Timothy Hutton? There's a Timothy and then a blonde, and I can't remember which one it is, but they're famous people. But look up Made in Heaven. It was always one of my favorite movies, but it's not most people's favorite movie, but it was one of the movies I always remembered because it has to do with, meeting your other. It's really cool. All right, so movie Made in Heaven. um, the point of no return, being patient, and the sky and heavens were coming up here. The show of power of the Christ or unity consciousness, and the car of Christ, or in other words, the chariot. The gift or present of the dance of unity in heaven, with heaven in their eyes, of the third eye and the fourth eye, as we discussed yesterday. Right? We can't really open to the fourth eye until we cross the rainbow bridge, until we learn to know the difference between what we see with our physical eyes and what we see with our third eye, that they're two different things. One is our knowing, and the pineal gland is connected directly to the heart and then over to the spinal system, to the thoracic, whereas the pituitary gland is right next to the optic nerve and has a straight connect to the spinal system. So that's connected to your physical body and your eyes, whereas the pineal gland like beelines another route in order to connect over to the thoracic spine, which I found very interesting yesterday. So knowing, being wise enough to know the difference, and then being able to remain calm when you know what you know, even though you're seeing something different. So then your fourth eye, the rainbow bridge, can occur. And the fourth sharp was also coming up. So the fourth sharp note in a major scale, but sharp, the definition of sharp came up in another acronym. And the Ma, so the mother, or Mass, Massachusetts may be coming up in the Department of Christ or Unity Consciousness. Or Christ Incorporated. R, the Christ Unity Consciousness, the Three of Wands being present to the dance of the unity and the synchronicities, the heaven in your eyes. The fourth eye, again, Pi and Phi were coming up. Pi is the pineal gland, and Phi is the fourth eye. It's the expansion, the pituitary gland comes up as the circle with no line in it, because that's just the human embodiment of source, the normal eye. So the pineal gland comes up as the Pi, the circle with a line through it, and then Phi is then expanding past that outside your body, the Phi, all right, your fourth eye. That's the line outside the circle. So the Phi, or Fi, that came up, as well as NIN. Karn came up, so the Pitcairn estate came up for me, and John Pitcairn. So I went a little bit into that. And the grandmother came up, and this is important because a translation I did yesterday, where, well, who was it? Apollo saw Gaia as grandmother, not mother, but grandmother. And the grandmother came up again today. So Carnwood is Brynathan Cathedral, is a Swedenborgian religion. So it was Emanuel Swedenborgian. Not Emmanuel, he's one of the sons, I'm sorry. I had to go in order. I'm kind of skipping around. That's why I'm confusing which words are which. So Karn came up, which Karn means pile of rocks or to churn. But Carnwood is Brynathan. Brynathan is, of course, is the capital in Greek, but Brynathan, Bryn is Welsh, and it's ridge, brow, crest, or hill, or mound. And John Pitcairn came in. He was an industrialist, and actually he came in as Johnny Appleseed, or someone related to the religion came over as Johnny Appleseed. I'm assuming that was John Pitcairn, because he was the originator here. So he was an industrialist. His son Raymond, in the new church of the New Jerusalem, it's Swedenborgian. It was incorporated in 1916. Glen Carn originally was a private residence of the millionaire philanthropist. So here again, philanthropist is coming up. Ray Pitcairn. So him and his two sons. Now the estate this is something that's nearby me. It's now a museum, all the estates, and you can have weddings there, and the church is beautiful, and they have a whole college there and everything now. But the Cairn Crest was built for John's son Harold. So there's, we'd have these, they're beautiful. It's in a beautiful estate. These beautiful old buildings. They're huge. He was an aviation pioneer and developer of auto gyro. Now is the administration building for the new church. And so Emanuel Swedenborgen was the original person of the religion. So, and there was a 1921 wreck that came up from December 5th, 1921, the Bryn Athens Railroad wreck, where two Reading, so it's Reading, Pennsylvania, two Reading steam trains collided head-on in a blind curve. And what did I just describe yesterday? But from Apollo, again, the two eagles crossing paths right at the right moment and bumping into each other. And that was where he figured out that he was going to use, it wasn't Delphi. Was it Delphi? Yeah, Delphi. Because we were talking about Sophia and Delphi yesterday. It was Delphi. Okay. So 27 were killed in that wreck and 70 were injured. 27 is the Ace of Wands. 70 is the Two of Pentacles. Trying to keep your balls up in the air. So the trains were made of wood cars back then. So that's why, most of the people killed were burned. And then the cars burned as well. So wood cars were banned after that. So FIM came up, which means movie, film, or end. And actually, yeah. And FI also means to be. So FI, that comes up as phi, the FEYE that I went over yesterday. So not only is it I am that I am, but FI literally means to be. That's, God's reference. FIM also means smokes. That came up. So I looked up Massachusetts to see if anything was coming up around that. And I just looked up Mass for Ma and Mass. So MAB came up, pronounced Mass. It's Swiss spelling. A German word describing the amount of beer in a regulation mug, or in other words, 1 liter, or 33.8 ounces, which is funny because 338 is a significant number to me. Also, the MA Affordable Care Act plans came up, have to do with insurance. And then the Mass New Church came up in Bridgewater, which was the same church that I was talking about. 2 doctrines. The first doctrine is that there's one God that's worshipped, and the other was to live by the commandments. Mass New Church Union also came up. I'm not sure if it was the same church or not, but Swedenborgen was a scientist, a theologist, a mystic, and a philosopher. In 1716, he met with King Charles XII in Sweden in the city of Lund, which is funny because if you know the twin flame Elizabeth Lund, who has her own video website. And then 1730s, he wrote lots of articles and books, and one was the neuron concept of functions of the pituitary gland, and studied anatomy and physiology. In the 1730s, he got more spiritual, and in 1718 wrote an article explaining the spiritual and mental events as minute vibrations or tremulations. He developed the nebular hypothesis, but he wasn't given credit for that. Actually, the man who got credit for it wasn't until 20, 30 years later. Actually, there's evidence that he preceded Kant, the one who did get credit, Kant, by 20 years in that hypothesis. He also brought in metallurgy, melting or smelting iron and copper together, and a manuscript called Infinito, regarding the soul being connected to the body. So there's a lot of afterlife stuff in his beliefs. So, of course, he was shunned at the time from most other people as being, crazy. So 1744, and it's 943 here now as I'm writing this. 9 was the Hierophant, and 43 is the Three of Cups. In 1744, he actually experienced purgatory, or the 40 bridge, for about 6 months. They referenced October 26th to 27th, 1744. He became clear on his path to follow. And then 1747, resigned to study Bible, to interpret every line of the Bible. He spent a lot of time doing that. 1757, The Heavenly Doctrine, he wrote, which involved the Last Judgment from the Bible, took place halfway between heaven and hell, with which all pass on their way there, and also covered the second coming of Christ. He was vegetarian, but also understood that it was a matter of consciousness, so he wasn't being judgmental of others, and actually did eat some pigeon, I think. So 1771. He wrote a lot of other stuff. He's writing his whole life. So he passed away in March 29th. I don't know if I wrote down the year. This is all from Wikipedia. But his body was transferred to Sweden. It was in London originally, and it was transferred to Sweden. And then in 1771, the Swedish Royal Council examined heresy charges that came up in 1770 against 2 followers of him. He had already passed away. It's so funny because heresy, it just seems so weird in this day. And heresy literally says hearsay. So going back to the code line for the read, which is all about teaching and learning. I am, or to be, right? So it's conjugating. I am after death, ESP, with the abilities of ESP, of the grandmother's carnage. I was also getting I am a gay or dependent. So things that a masculine may be afraid to tell family or community. I am gay, or I am dependent. I'm not fully independent. Those kind of things. And they're all coming up due to grandmother's carnage. Whatever came down from the grandmother. Tough love. The pile of rocks churning. And to take the high road. The divine feminine of fire. And the divine masculine of ice. And to say 87 Hail Marys in between was coming up. But there could be 7 offices, 8 offices, or 7 offices maybe for somebody. But it's also getting to say 87 Hail Marys. So it was also coming up as I am the end. I am finished. I am the end. Phi. In the end, I am. So it's like coming up as all the same thing. The poop, it comes up as poo too. Poo poo, boo boo, yuck stuff. Phi. So in the end, or finished, or I am that I am. After death, in ESP, connected, doing the dance of the Christos Sophia, the even of chalices. So saying both the masculine and feminine are even of emotions. And also the chalices breaks down to Christ, Hail, Isis. All right, so chalices, so C for me is the Christ energy of unity consciousness, the collective. And then it's chalices, and then it's Hail and Isis. So Christ, Hail, Isis, and Hail Marys were coming up. So I'm okay, what are they trying to show me here? So again, the coming together of the dance of the unity consciousness, or the 7, the chariot of ascension, of the Christos Sophia. It's saying to have a little bit of more than one of the other, so 8 as opposed to the other having 7, right? Because you always want to err to the light. And then Hail Isis, with the pi and the phi next to each other, which are like 2 eyes, one with a line in it and the other one with a line outside of the lines. So I went to enter Hail and Isis online to see what would come up. And Hail Mary prayer came up as the first thing. So Isis, thought to be the daughter of Thoth, and Isiopolis came up.com, so you might want to check that out if you're interested. But Isis, just some few things that came up. Sothis, Lady of the Dog Star, riding the dog from Alexandria, the coin or Kohan, the Sothic cycle, the 1461 ancient Egyptian years, that with 365 days loses enough time to coincide with the rise of Sirius, the star of Isis or Sirius. So Cleopatra was said to be Isis as well, and Cleopatra literally translates to gift of Isis. And of course, Isis sought Osiris, her lover. So her birthday in the summer, the night of the cradle, the next day is Osiris's birthday, and the Nile's annual rising reflects New Year's Day. It's connected to Osiris and her grief for Osiris. The night of the drop, when grieving Isis imagined to swell the Nile with her tears. So 719, the rising of Sirius was 140 to 142 CE. And this report was from 8/15/20, so it's current. And that was calculated in 1904 by Edward Meyer. So then Isis's birthday would be 717 if it was 19. Or using the modern rising time at either Isis's major sacred temples in Egypt, the Lower Egypt temple in the Delta, and Delta came up yesterday, was August 8th this year, and the Upper Egyptian temple in Philae, is that how it's pronounced? Which is again the Philadelphia connection, was coming up on that. Then her birthday would have been on 8/2. So both Delta came up yesterday and Philae. It's Philae, or Aglilica. So the birthday would fall on 8/2. So 8/8 or 8/2. So the summer I was out last night looking at the stars, which I don't usually look up. I was outside dumping the trash because I had extra trash to dump from the garage, which I've been doing every week, and I hadn't done it. So I was out late at midnight. So I was looking up at the sky, and the sky was so clear, which it isn't always, and the summer triangle's out, but I was just seeing one really bright star and another bright star that wasn't as bright. So I don't know if it was Jupiter and Saturn or not, but the summer triangle is Vega, Deneb, and Aquila, or Akia, I'm not sure how they pronounce it. So, and then Arcturus was coming up around this stuff too in Hercules. The handle of the Big Dipper, and Cassiopeia was coming up with the W, and that came up this week or yesterday, opposite the pole star rising in the east. So anyway, I was just talking about what we could see last night. I was trying to figure out what stars I was looking at. So when I looked up, I got Hail Marys for Isis, but why am I getting 87 Hail Marys? And 87 came up yesterday in the numerology cards as 87 and 78 reflecting each other. I don't know what they are off the top of my head right now, but 87 Hail Marys. So I put it in, and I got something right out of there was only one answer, and it was on the top as soon as I put it in. So 87 Hail Marys, take the high road of fire and ice, and say 87 Hail Marys between. Pi, fire up, and Phi, cool down. That's when you have to come back to center again because you're getting too much outside the lines. So the 87 Hail Marys came up as NFL 100 greatest, and it was number 87 was Bartkowski's Hail Mary stuns the 49ers in the game-winning throw against the 49ers. I'm not sure what year it was. So that was pretty funny. It was coming up from the Atlanta Falcons website. So number 87 on Hail Marys, the NFL 100 greatest Hail Marys. So that was pretty funny. I start this read at 11:04. Which is Justice and the Emperor. My poor finger. Beneath the Knight of Cups, which is on top there, the Alchemy card reversed was underneath it, as well as the Five of Cups reversed, the Tower upright, and the King of Wands reversed. All right, so here's the underlying energy with the mini deck cards on top. So the Knight of Cups offers love. After fallen angel or impatient to get over grief suddenly or a sudden epiphany, about the King of Wands reversed offering love. With the downturn or timing that is not in his favor, may have tripped up or dropped the ball or dropped the facade or act or the cover-up to break patterns. The Ten of Pentacles, family, business, community, or legacy, receives offer of love from the Page of Cups over their screw-ups. Wasn't the right time to offer big love. Now the Knight of Cups is swimming fast or stroking to make up time. Or the Page of Cups saw through the act, and then the King of Cups reversed, messenger of truth, may be causing guilt or suffering in silence. 5 Hail Marys to end the nightmare, with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, working to align with the dark block, portal, or entrance. Insecure without the tools and manipulations. Lead or moldy archway with green doors beneath, and then mold was coming up as an issue. But notice that mold isn't just mold that's growing in the walls, but it was coming up as the mold was referencing the 8 of Pentacles of the office, and 7 of Swords was coming up, so the 87 was coming up again, and it came up in the code numbers in the beginning too, which I brought up in the beginning. So the 8 of Pentacles office was coming up as mold, and 7 of Swords was coming up as guilt. So mold is also a pattern, right? It's a mold in which you make something. So it's mold, the stuff that grows, the fungus that grows, but it's also something that you would, put clay in to form something. So it's a framework or form. An arch mold, it's also in architecture what they call or call the doorway arches, the mold for them. Not only mold growth in the doorway, but the actual mold of the doorway. Or it's a hollow form or matrix for shaping a fluid or plastic substance to guide or influence before casting. So it's like it sounds like a casting call to make sure you guide or influence them before you cast them for a part. Make sure you train them before you hire them. So moldy was coming up, but remember, there's such a negative connotation to mold, but remember that mold is just compost. It's called humus. Compost, dirt, ground, moldy earth, ground, rich in humus, fit for planting. So mold is just compost, which a lot of the artifacts we find are compost. It's just leftover plant and organic matter over a long period of time, becomes hardened over time. But over a short amount of time, it becomes moldy or fungus, with a lot of hot and humid weather. So it's not just mold or fungus, but it's all of these other things. It's dirt that we walk on every day, that we walk in our house with, the earth, the topsoil, decomposed plant or organic material, fungus. So the family, business, or community must mold before casting. Those in need of tools, like the Page of Pentacles reversed, a student in need of help, perhaps insecure when they're not taught first, to choose a path of which the Queen of Swords speaks of. The Knight of Swords brings guilt and shame to the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or legacy, working without tools, or not giving the Page of Pentacles reversed tools, could be a child or student, to choose their path wisely or correctly. Perhaps they were shamed for being green, not knowing, or green, like wanting to be organic, like the Queen of Swords green, and speaking on natural red carpet. So they could be making fun of the Queen of Swords being green and still going up and speaking even though she's not polished or professional, and speaking on the natural red carpet instead of the bright red carpet, and brick fireplace and blanket being informal, no goal in mind, just speaking from the present moment. The left or the feminine growth may be greater than the masculine, seeing it as a competition. This is the masculine seeing it as a competition that they've lost instead of just being love. So finding something they're not good at and then feeling unworthy because somebody else is better at than them. But you can't be the best at everything, obviously. You just have to accept each other for our talents and share them. So choosing shaman and akashics or green in the moment, expanding ideas. The goal posts are equal in height, but the right post is just buried deeper into the ground. The Empress is out to be seen, without lover or affection, post-war or of social distancing, and doing just great. Post-apocalyptic, eclipse of the heart, vulva and uvula, third party and winner of the war, taking others down to get there, including Gabriel. Sword magnets everywhere. Battlefield, the glass ceiling, the veil, and purgatory, the 4D bridge, the rainbow, all the people that have died in building bridges. And then the bridge over River Kwai came up. Yeah, and so people might be having some mold issues just in general right now also. You might notice mold growing somewhere that you didn't notice it before. So at 11:48 is Justice and the Eight of Cups, walking away and within. The bridge over River Kwai. So also love yourself first, and unrequited love came up for the masculine here. So love yourself first was on top with unrequited love beneath it. Building a bridge, not knowing that you're, it's like the bridge over River Kwai was building a bridge for the enemy because you were forced to, but trying to make the best of your situation, not realizing that the your allies are planning to destroy it once it's done. The King of Wands reversed, without affection, and the Knight of Swords upright, cracking the whip with kids or practicing with online classes, perhaps a lesson in restraint, or a workout routine, or surprised by what they see online, the King of Wands reversed and the Knight of Swords upright. Recovering from exile, destitution, illness, or injury without an olive branch. Roses growing along the wall or vines, and a bow left without arrows or without violin. What good is a tool? What good is it of a tool if nothing to stroke it, play it, or aim it with? Hostage hands, roped and tied, along with little caterpillar, while Inspector Clouseau investigates every inch of them before untying the knot. Cross her ankles and hope to die. Cross keys and family tree branch. No more hanging violin. There to be admired and fragile ego stroked, on display for all to see, but never gets to play and be seen. A star is born every minute, but what about the constellations? The consolation prize for coming in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, and so on. Does only the top dog deserve recognition? Number 8, just to go on to be number 9, the end. 1 leading 7, waxing and waning, Sirius and Pleiading. Arcturs are us, and Andromedon. Thelma and Louise, Greena and Susan, Serendipitous Don. 2 Kates, Becks and Sales, Blooms and Bergs. 2 Johns, Eminem, Molly and Marcia. Bridge Moynihan Dynasty and Levi clan. Eugene or DNA and Pi Ven. Venerable, beautiful boyfriend J. Air, my bright star. All 8 or 9, lay them straight, and then sign wave. Waiver of rights and wrongs, and not allowed to sing songs without a tune-up. So the olive branch there just wasn't seen under the water and under the 4D bridge. Don't forget to point your toes, and don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me at 12:30. And that's funny, Johnny Appleseed came up and then that came up. 12:30 is the Hangman and the 30 of the 4 of Wands. So love comes up here, number 6, and beneath that was self-discipline, number 41, which is the Ace of Cups, self-love, spiritual love, new love. And the raising of a glass, the getting wish of a split, a lie, or cutting through the crap, or a division, or removal of sword from heart, or surgery is over with. Dropping the facade or deception, and the Queen of Cups is upright here, perhaps a Cancer, with glass in hand, third party through work, and messenger of truth. No more lathe or printing press or kiln overheating. Casino Royale or dress to the nines, the knight in shining armor, two-man horse on their way back to get the girl. At 12:36, which is the Hangman and the Ten of Wands, the Atlas energy, the weight of the world upon your shoulders. At 12:37, which is then the King of Cups, Q sack and core bet, money's on cue for the win, all bets are in. The Knight of Swords and Knight of Cups cross paths as the Queen of Swords speaks on behalf of third parties and stars and constellations about love. And what's love got to do with it? All bets are off, hot and cold fire and ice, pick and faucet, poster girl and the spy who loved me. 007 made in heaven, bonded, merged, and refused to go back and repeat the steps. In the recent past is the Nine of Wands upright. The wounded warrior with justice, of heavy petting, or Libra with Leo stroking their ego, or grooming the beast, working to align details, ducks, tails, and platitudes, with secret out, no longer news. The King of Swords healing, suffering in silence, and frustrations. Oh my! Synchronicities, choices, and heaven to the eyes, unhappy for family, an end of emotional cycle of deception or ties. New moon and delta dawn, up before sunrise, uncomfortable energies, and knowing and keeping to self for peace of mind. Justice with rabbit ears, two antenna, or of two minds and blind. The foundation is the King of Swords upright. Sovereign Knight of Cups offering to even the score. Moved or moved on with lots of choices to make and synchronicities to see, and or of the Queen of Wands reversed, ungrounded, in debt, scammed, or inequitable relations. The Sovereign with visitations, or orchestrating proposal to make a correction. The central energy here is karma reversed. Happy with self, taking back power from the Queen of Cups, offering, gladly offering, and reaping rewards at the time. The Divine Masculine with Knight of Cups, or Nine of Cups, dealing in swords now, since he's got the 9 cups already at the end. Now with the Queen of Cups, with one big cup, holier than thou, the Holy Grail cup, the Knight of Pentacles offering services, help, or proposal. The challenge being the Three of Wands upright, present to nothingness, and a gift at the same time. The Four of Swords upright and the Three of Pentacles reversed, resting, taking a break, meditating, or prayer with third party through work. When things are slow or someone's on vacation. The Nine of Wands, or the Six of Wands, good news, journey, and leading the way through happy kids, exposure, and sunshine, and or Leo, and no patience though, no peace with the Knight of Wands rushing out or rushing the quarterback. And that could be a loan. Someone might be trying to rush them to pay them back. But the Knight of Wands, has been coming up as an issue. It could definitely be a child who's been having some issues about getting in trouble lately. So they're upright today, which is good. But there's still discomfort from the parent who's worried about them staying on the straight and narrow. So uncomfortable in prison or with hostage, the end of a cycle or unhappiness or unhappy family, and the King of Pentacles reversed, maybe ungrounded or spending or losing money or status, or going down with the ship. The Ten of Swords reversed, the worst is over with new love, justice, or divorce, and the Knight of Cups offering love as the Dark Knight to the Empress, and or the Knight to Queen, and I want to say Rook here too. Knight to the Queen of Cups, with Empress who could be a Scorpio between them. The Queen of Cups is detoxing or Capricorn recovering or going back to work, and the Queen of Wands is upright, watching the towering inferno or clips of the towers or explosions, watching the ship go down. And she doesn't look unhappy about it. At 111 is the Magician and Justice. Now, Justice is upright here today, but the Magician is reversed. So there's definitely insecurity here, or a lack of tools. So 113 is the Magician and the Death card, transition, transformation, endings. So now in the crowning position is the Queen of Pentacles reversed, perhaps with negative self-talk or rumors and spying, or a kid with a bad mouth. Getting over loss, regret of the Tower sudden event, epiphanies or eruptions, and the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help, money or opportunity, and the Hermit shedding light on the aftermath or showing them how to avoid the Knight of Swords messages. The Knight of Swords rushing in, or maybe a slew of texts or emails, or an announcement of hanging out for new perspectives and holding on loosely, grounding, saving, and being moderate. Defenseless to being pushed away, or standing up for self by keeping your distance and letting them go on if they want, but it's not going to affect you. Insecure or without the tools to deal with issues at work in a split or a lie, or cutting through the BS or the need for clarity in a divorce, or breaking away from social norms and keeping to self or keeping energy pure. Healing, forgiving, death, end, or dark night, transition, or Scorpio and dark priestess without keys, who's over the Empress and the Divine Feminine in 5D, and or the World reversed over the Queen of Cups, nostalgic, looking back at pics from the past with nothing to stand on or sit on or lean on. Which is funny because when I was putting out the trash in the garage last night, I was finding some of the stuff from my childhood, so I was looking at some of the old pictures. So with little support to detox loss, defenselessness to bliss, and playing with fire, or the idea of detoxing, or grounding and integrating the devil's offer, if they detox, to end the fighting or losing battle, unable to function, and dumping responsibilities, or someone prone to shirk their responsibilities. Soon for the masculine is the Eight of Pentacles, once again at peace, at work, working with crystals, or on break, or meditating at work. There's no peaceful place to go. I think at home it means that, but at work too. But it's like, when it's lunchtime or at night, maybe the only time where they can get peace at work. So no peaceful place to go, with the Knight of Wands constantly busy or running around. So that can be the Divine Masculine, or could be someone around them. The Fool is free from the King of Wands reversed with their back turned in a bold move of the King of Wands reversed, or travel to or with the Page of Pentacles reversed and or the Queen of Wands upright, whether it's the child or the Page of Pentacles is the Queen of Wands, her need of help, money, or opportunity, or someone who never learns, or the Queen of Wands is there for the drama, an explosion, epiphany, or to get closure, or take a Pisces or the Divine Feminine down, or take the world by storm. Or the King of Wands reversed is driving to home, worried about what could happen if he doesn't go make this visit. Or it's a get out of jail free card, taking a drive to get out and get some peace, or after the conflict at home. Or the King of Wands reversed with the Knight of Wands upright, and the Queen of Wands upright is with the Page of Pentacles reversed. So it could be two parents with two kids, doing their own thing, separate vacations, or separated in the car or a plane, like sitting in totally different rows on the plane, or just front seat and back seat, different rows or front and back seats. Sagittarius upright, Aries upright, Cancer upright here. The Divine Masculine seeing himself as the Starseed upright, receiving big download to crown. The Queen of Swords shedding light on themselves, or talking to the Divine Masculine or Divine Masculine's advisor. Or the Queen of Swords and the Emperor with a mediator, doctor, or professional, or consultant, or wise old man. They're having a discussion. So perhaps they're not aroused, and this is all still around the Divine Masculine, or on his energy. Not aroused, frustrated, or unable to conceive or conceptualize the present. The day Columbus arrived to nothingness at 1:44. How do you like that? 1:44. The day Columbus arrived to nothingness. And he stepped on that nothingless land. And thinking about how do you find a mate that will actually see eye to eye with you when there's nothing even there. At 1:44, till death do us part, or conditions of love, like emotionally unavailable or alcoholic, or connecting with the Queen of Swords, Dark Knight, and Hermit, the King of Cups reversed, and the Emperor upright. Yes. So Virgo, Scorpio, and Aries all right there. So talking about the conditions of love, well, what changes here about why there's divorce is because people learn to love themselves first. So you can love someone who's being abusive to you, but you don't stay with them. You love them from afar and you accept them for who they are, but you're certainly not going to leave yourself in a place where you're going to continue to be abused. That's the difference. So religious differences is coming up here. Release your ex, and then religious factors. So it's not just religion. It can be any differences, whether it's age or society, your background, your culture. Heart-to-heart conversations, and then wedding. This situation involves marriage. So around the Divine Masculine, how he's seen, is guidance reversed. No guidance, wounded warrior needing to swallow their pride, choking on their words, or holding back an announcement or a call, or Taurus reversed, or Aquarius may be hot and cold, or defensive to healer, star, or their dreams. Knight of Pentacles is helping to recover others at new moon, or at first light, maybe getting up really early in the morning, or out of deception now. Or Cancer or deception is weighing on the Aquarius's or the star's head. Taurus reversed, Aquarius up and down, so that could be one Aquarius who's hot and cold, or two Aquariuses there, one upright and one reversed. And then Cancer came up reversed as well. Or one taking another back and forth for appointments and or hospital visits. The challenge being here, or the block for the masculine, is the Seven of Cups upright, the stairway to heaven, religion, meditation, 7-step program, or pogroms was coming up. And I just realized I didn't show you the picture of the read, so I want to show you that before I forget. So this is the main read for this SIRIAN Starseed deck. The colors were really pretty today. And then the read in front of you here, the full read. So you have that. Sorry, I should have given it to you in the beginning. But so you can take a picture of that if you want to follow. So the pogroms were coming up. That was very interesting. So two people maybe with no benefits in climbing or getting to the top. The Page of Pentacles reversed, child in need of help, money, or opportunity, or that's the Queen of Wands upright with the world reversed, or in another world, or looking down at another in another world, or who the Queen of Wands deems as less than them, or in need of a correction or help. Aries upright, Cancer upright, and Pisces reversed here, with the King of Wands reversed and the Queen of Wands upright. King of Wands reversed, Queen upright. Teaching and learning, but even more so for the masculine here, was healing. Lovers reversed and holding back feelings from kids and or twins, or disconnecting from positive memories, or heated exchanges in front of the kids or twins, or Sagittarius and Aries being loving with each other while doing their own thing. It's like the parents learning from the kids. The kids are actually, they were fighting and now they're all of a sudden lovey-dovey and getting along, but here the parents aren't getting along and they're being too prideful to just work things out, either leave each other or stay, so they're learning from their children how to be in an environment with someone who's totally different from you. So like two kids who totally like two different things, they're just going their separate ways, and when they're together they love each other, but when they don't want to do stuff with each other, they don't. So it's like the parents learning from the kids today. And it's also about, so they're doing their own thing and then letting the Divine Masculine or the King of Wands reversed rest while they go do their own thing. So there's a breakup or no affection, and without a leg to stand on, or detoxing and recovering, the Queen of Wands watching a sudden event, or watching it all fall apart, or watching explosive Scorpio upright, Capricorn reversed, or Gemini reversed, withholding time, money, and effort, or a new life until they get a chance to offer something healthy, the Knight of Pentacles, with peace talks, negotiations, mediation, or counseling. The Page of Swords reversed versus the Knight of Pentacles upright, or Gemini reversed, Capricorn, or Capricorn's reversed, or Scorpio upright. Post-battle confession, or distribution of assets and responsibilities dumped. Indigo insecure or without the tools needed to be on their own, or face the sovereign with a lie, a split, divide, or BS, and choosing a new path. The Queen of Pentacles reversed and Lovers reversed, perhaps stopped battling or ended the conflict or games. The Indigo or Magician reversed and Sovereign upright or Independent one are divided about choice of path to make, and that can be children around them as well. So impatient to recover from drama of the King of Wands reversed and the Knight of Cups upright, the King of Swords Starseed receiving big download with guidance of his own. The wounded warrior choked, indecisive, defensive or scared, and challenged by being present to the flame, working with crystals and taking steps to the Queen of Pentacles reversed breakup to end the battle. Perhaps their magic's not working on them, with sovereign in a lie or split. So it's really weird the way this comes up. It's like someone that the masculine's with was actually doing magic on the feminine, but where it normally works on other people, their spell work isn't working on the divine feminine. It literally just came up right there. So 216 is the High Priestess and the 16 of the Tower. So the drama of the King of Wands reversed and the Knight of Cups upright and the wounded warrior Knight of Swords and the King of Swords may be cold to the Queen of Pentacles reversed, challenged by being present to the flame and the gift of the moment. Starseed receiving downloads and working to align with crystalline body without outside guidance or without a Taurus reversed or in a divorce or break from norms, taking steps to break up with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and end the battle with Indigo reversed and Sovereign upright, divided about where to go next. The Four of Cups upright feeling unworthy, and that could be children, but also could be workers. Like if you have your own business too, like if you're leaving that business, the people have to figure out where they're going to go job-wise. So the Four of Cups upright feeling unworthy, bored or grounding and integrating or feeling guilty about receiving an offer or a gift. Six of Cups or happy kids, exchanging gifts or making up or loving each other. The Page of Cups offering a little love, but holding back the big time, money, and effort until the King of Pentacles reversed starts making an effort. Or two who are good at sharing love, but not so good at sharing time, money, and effort, or that kind of stuff. The practical side of life. All right, so I'm going to pull an energy card and see what comes up here. So it's now 56, we'll say. So 56 is the Two of Swords, being in your knowing and keeping to yourself. Or it could be someone who doesn't know, but actually with that card, you know that, but you blind yourself because you don't want to have to deal with it. So it could be somebody pretending not to know as well. But it's about keeping peace of mind. So it's like your mind dumping things because it can't handle anymore. All right, so for everybody watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn for the Divine Masculines today? And let's clear all negative energies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned. And fill that empty space with only beautiful divine love and diamond crystalline light. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, what is our takeaway from this read? We have the guard in the gate, and that's someone who may be afraid to leave home. Right, the butterflies are trying to get her to go. 30 is the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands was upright in the read today. So it is about feeling safe at home and not really wanting to go anywhere, or just afraid to, or just maybe don't trust. That was coming up with, what was the animal that just came up? Oh, the wolf. So the wolf is really smart, intelligent, and they're sly, just like the fox, in a slightly different way. But the only thing that came up about the wolf that was negative was the trust issues. They don't trust. So there may be something about that that's coming up. They don't know who to trust, right? So when you don't trust, you're going to pull in people who are untrustworthy because it wants to show you your wound. So you got to be careful about that stuff. So that's the home. So staying at home, but making it your own prison because you're afraid to go outside. So you're literally living in a prison. And then we have the first chakra Archangel Michael, 35, which is the wounded warrior. So this can literally be someone around the Divine Masculine who's afraid. It could be a feminine energy who's afraid to lose the house. Did I say lose the house? So somebody may be afraid to lose the house if they leave. And that can be in a divorce, right? Because your lawyer will always recommend you stay in the house so you don't lose it. It can be that, but it also could be someone afraid to leave the house, without a masculine there. And that's the wounded warrior, though. So I don't know if the wounded warrior was coming up as the masculine today or not, but it could be. But it looks like the feminine energy is more scared right now. So it could be someone who's around the masculine, whether it's a child, a partner, or a sister even, or even a mother who acts like a little girl about going outside the house. And then we have the 53 of the Knight of Swords. And he's like, what? What'd I do? I didn't do everything for you. I didn't do enough. So this is the old man in the middle of the night, the magician in the mirror. And the indigo was reversed in this read. So this is like the divine masculine with his father and his daughter. That's the kind of energy this is. Like he's all stable, but maybe he's got his father living with him. Maybe he's going through surgery or was sick and he had to take care of him, or he lives somewhere else but he still has to take care of him. And then there's a daughter or a partner who's acting like a little girl. They can't take care of themselves, and so he's the only one who's being responsible here, because where they could take care of themselves, they're not. And this one could be guilting you, like, did I not take care of you when you needed help? Even though you're inundated right now, this is guilt, right? Because they can actually take care of themselves. He's standing and he's okay. Or he's shaming you for making him feel guilty about something. Didn't I do enough for you? So 53 is the Knight of Swords, the Wounded Warrior, and the home. So it's all about the safety and stability of the home, and perhaps taking care of other people in the family, parents or children may be involved. And the bottom of the deck is walking away. So see, a partner may have walked away, or a child may have left the nest. And then there's another one who's terrified to leave. Or this is the one that was, this is before the other card. So this is where someone left. So it could be one child leaving another child, so now the other child's scared to go anywhere. Or this could be the divine masculine's partner leaving and going out on her own. 27 is the Ace of Wands, so that's someone totally inspired. But the Ace of Wands was reversed too. So again, this energy can literally reference that little girl scared to leave the house. It could be this energy. Okay, and then these two cards want to come up too. So the Thinking Man of 46 and the Strategy, the 21, the World. And the World is upside down. This is upright. So this part is good for the masculine and figuring out what he wants to do as far as new work, or what's more related to his true calling. And then here's the Strategy of the World, and we talked about arriving at the New World, Columbus, discovering America. So there's crystal work here, which also came up in the read. And again, there may be journaling. This could be mapping things as well, because this is like an atlas map. And maybe doing it, somebody might like the old style of pen writing. So doing calligraphy or something like that. So there's just different things coming up for the masculines right now. They may be figuring out what they want to do with their life as far as their mission work. And so I can confirm that definitely came up today. So yeah, that sounds right about in line with what's going on. Okay, so I hope that is helpful for you guys. And hopefully this will trigger some of your own codes and figuring things out, because I was getting confirmation about that kind of stuff as well today. So make sure you drink your water and get your rest, get your joy, get your nature. Make sure you go out and get some sunlight in your eyes or on your skin. Doesn't have to be a lot, but just try to do something every day. And, breathe in that fresh air as well. Put your feet in the grass to ground yourself. And as usual, rise and be loved. Bye.